Okay, let's turn to each other, say Merry Christmas. And I want all of you to give donations to is that high school or AU? High school, okay? Um, Hello? Okay. Today is rather a momentous day for me, at least, because today's sermon is going to be the final sermon of the series, triple series. I think for about a year or so, I've been talking about the history of Israel, the gospel of Jesus Christ, disciples of Jesus Christ, or the big picture of Christianity. And then we talked about believing the God who made me instead of God whom I made, how to believe in Jesus Christ, how to accept that I am a sinner, that Jesus Christ died for me on the cross, and all that. And then second series was how to love my neighbor, as our God had taught us, as they are to the end with sacrifice, without any strings attached. And then the thirdly, after we believe in Jesus Christ and becoming a child of God, how shall we then live? The application part of the Christianity. I had 3 series, and all those 3 series were back to back. The big one had a small one inside, and then the smallest one inside. And today is the final of all 3 series: the Christianity, and how to love my neighbor, and also the application, the civility part. How do we become civil to each other? So it is rather momentous. So from next week, I'm going to go into a Christmas story, and 2019 comes, we'll begin a brand new series. So it is a very momentous sermon for me. I'm going to try to finalize the whole series and then give some kind of answer to a question. Okay, then, what do I do? What is the problem and what is the solution of the humanity? Maybe if I could dare, I can give that answer today. So let's look at Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1 through 5. Okay, Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1 through 5. Let's look at it all together, please. Please read.
But now, this is what the Lord says. He who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I give Egypt for your ransom, Cush and Seba in your stead. Since you are precious and honored in my sight, and because I love you, I will give men in exchange for you, and people in exchange for your life. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bring your children from the east and gather you from the west. Amen.
Amen. Turn to each other and say, do not be afraid. I guess everybody has their own personal Bible verses. A verse that God had given each other. God has given to each of us. This happened to be my verse. It's not my favorite verse, but it is what God had given to me. As you might have known, that when I was very young, my grandmother put me to sleep with money on my hand. And as I was awaking, I felt a heavy hand on my face. I think I was maybe 5, 6, 7, I don't know, very young. And as I was regaining my consciousness through deep sleep, I heard a voice of my grandmother, and she put her hand over my face and she was praying. And this was the verse, Isaiah 43. But now this is what the Lord said. He who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. And that just came to me as a rhema. And ever since I was young, every time I hear this Bible verse, it's kind of personal to me. It is not it's not most favorite of all the Bible verses that I know, but nevertheless, this is what God had given me, and I do firmly believe that God had formed me, and I am His. I don't know about you, but I am His. So it is very meaningful for me to give a talk with this Bible verse. Ever since I was young, I really tried to live my life very well. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be meaningful. When you go through the teenage stage, that you wanted to be something, somebody, and you want to find the meaning of life and all that. And I went through that. And most of my life, in fact, all of my life, I really wanted to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? I really tried. I really, really tried. I guess my best to be happy. Unfortunately, many a times I was not very happy. And so many times I got hurt. Usually I got hurt by people. Most of the time it's not the event, it's not the thing or whatever happened. It is people. People, we hurt each other, don't we? It's really funny. Sometimes a same person looks so cute, so beautiful, so awesome, and then next moment that same person looks so evil, so devilish, and you want to just kill that person. Wish that person to go away somewhere. It's really funny. Through all those experiences, I got hurt, and sometimes I wondered, how can I solve this problem? How can I live better? Hopefully today we can find some answers to that. So as we become a Christian, we're supposed to love one another. Amen? Christian love has 4 characteristics, right? We all know that, right? Okay, number 1, please. Number 1, huh? As you are, okay? As you are. We love you as you are. Number 2, wait. I got it wrong. I'm sorry. Number 1 was, I wish you well. I'm sorry. Number 2, as you are. Number 3, to the end. Number 4, with sacrifice. But it is really difficult because I guess the reason why I get into trouble is because I really don't know what the other person is thinking. People don't like what I like. People don't wish what I wish. We all wish different things. We like different things. Some people like beef. Some people like pork. Some people like chicken. Some people like vegetables. Yuck. Anyways, it's all different. But nevertheless, we try. If we try to force our opinion onto others, we get into a lot of trouble, and we do that. And then we get hurt. And I guess it's because we don't know how to love each other. As we become a Christian, we're supposed to be humble, but we don't know how to be humble. I told you the other day how to be humble as a Christian, right? Humility in Christian sense is not by saying that, I cannot do it, or I'm not worth it, or I'm not ready. That's not true humility in Christian sense. True humility in Christian sense is, do you know what it is? Remember? It's listening to other people when they are saying. I don't know if you try that, but when you are in a group meeting or when you are somebody, it's really funny that we don't really listen to each other, especially these days, because of the phone. Sometimes I want to step on that phone. I can't do that because it's too expensive. But we fiddle with phones and we look away. The reason why we look away is because other people are saying stupid things. Huh? That's because we already judge that person to be stupid. So stupid person saying stupid thing is really annoying. So you look away, showing that you are arrogant. A real Christian, a person whose sins are forgiven by God, is a person who's really interested in other people's story, other people's saying, let me hear what you say. That's really difficult. I know, because other people are stupid. But if we are really humble, we should really look at the person when he or she is speaking and carefully listen and try to understand his or her point of view. That's true humility. So, shall we practice that? Amen? Really difficult. But I guess it's in human nature to judge when other people, say something or do something. We automatically judge the person. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about judging. Apostle Paul says, I don't judge anybody. We really shouldn't judge other people. We can discern, that person is saying lies or that person saying very, silly things. We can do that, but we should not judge the person. That person is stupid. That person is really deep, By saying that, God says, you will be judged accordingly or same ways, which means that our life's going to be very miserable. And I guess by judging others, we become very miserable. It is like giving a holy thing to a pig, or pearl onto a pig's neck. I think discerning something to be good or bad in and of itself is not really a bad thing. But when you try to correct other people, then we walk into a very dangerous area. So we really should not judge each other. So turn to each other and say, I will not judge you. Really difficult, really difficult. But because we are very judgmental, we live our lives and we judge each other and we hurt each other's feeling. And somebody said, if you get into an accident and when you get hurt, physically, you can heal. As the time goes, it gets better. But when you get hurt by words, as the time goes, it gets worse. The pain gets worse. If you remember somebody saying something bad to you and you just recite over and over, your hurt gets bigger and bigger. In fact, our agony, our hurt, really comes from other people's judging. Some people calling me names, people saying really hurtful saying to me, and it really stays long time. So it is really good for us not to judge each other. Amen. Instead of that, we should really love one another. Now, in order to love, I'm going to say we must have a good idea of ourselves. I talked about briefly last week about self-esteem. Now I'm going to focus my talk today onto self-esteem very, very in-depth. Even though I think I am really not that qualified to talk about self-esteem in depth. Because despite of all my education in medicine and in theology, one topic that I am not really confident knowing the full concept is self-esteem. Self-esteem is a very difficult concept. I used to think it is the feeling that I have toward my own self, but it is not. That's not self-esteem. Self-esteem, if I have to explain or give an analogy, is a relationship with my own self. My own relationship to my own self. That's, I think, maybe a good example of self-esteem. Somewhere I read it that all the brokenness of this world, all the sins that we commit, is due to the broken self-esteem. You know, the sinfulness, the broken relationship, all that. If you dig it and dig it and dig it, we will see sin at the bottom. But if you peel off the sin, my own sin at the bottom, there is a self-esteem problem. And I'm going to try to get into it. This morning, something really amazing happened to me, and that kind of dawned on me. Is maybe I was thinking about this Isaiah 43. Is that when I was taking a shower this morning, my wife knocked on the shower room, and she said something very strange. I have never heard that been said from my wife. She said, "Take your grandson and give him a shower." That's what she told me. And I am butt naked in the shower room, and she tells me, "Give Hunter a shower." And I said, "Why?" I mean, Hunter had his first shower a couple of days ago. A bath in the sink, for the first time. And I said, "Why do I?" "Because he pooped all the way to his neck." That's what he said. So I understood. So, I'm already naked, taking a shower. Why don't you take the child and give him? So I held and I tried to wipe his back, not the butt, back with my hands, and it was very slippery. I want you to try. Human excrement is very slippery when you wipe it with water. And I felt very strange sensation. And I liked it. And for a brief moment, I thought I was a pervert. It's like you are wiping up, human excrement, and you feel good, don't you? And then I realized it's not the. I was looking at his face, and I liked it. Even though he pooped all over his body, it really didn't matter. That's what this Isaiah 43 is saying. See, you and I live in this world. When we are born, we want to be happy. Now, we somehow get this notion that if I do something good, I will be happier. If I get more money, or if I get good grades, or if I get praise from other people, I'd be happy. So we try that, And if we do that, then we feel arrogant. I'm better, I'm good. But unfortunately, that doesn't give you happiness. Or if you fail, it gets worse. You're stupid. You're all that, and you don't feel happy. So we somehow connect our self-esteem or my worth with something I do. If I make more money, if I drive better car, if I get married, or if I have a child, all that. And that's why we compare with so many different people, compare my car to the other people's car, my church to other people's church, my house to other people's house, because we connect whatever I do or whatever I achieve with my happiness. But unfortunately, we never get succeed, because we always compare with somebody or something better than me. So I always feel, short-ended. But today, when I looked at the hunter's face with dung on his back, I liked it. I liked him. I loved him. I love him. I cherish him. Not because he done anything good. Babies don't do anything good. In fact, they are the most uncivil people. They poop anywhere, anytime. He's a boy, and when you change diaper, you have to be very careful. I noticed my wife putting something on top of him while he's changing the diaper. So what are you doing? He said, well, he doesn't care when. So children are most uncivil people, but yet I love him. Why? It's because I made him, or I made his father, basically. That's what he's saying. God is saying to Israel or Jacob, or all of us, children of God, he's saying, I cherish you. I love you. I will protect you. Not because you've done something, but because you are my child. I made you. Some of us God made with IQ of 180. Some of us made us with IQ of 80. Nevertheless, who made us? God made us. It's not depends on what we done, what we have, what we achieved. So imagine if self-esteem is relationship between me and my own self, let's just leave that concept onto the relationship with me and my neighbor. Okay? So we want to have a good relationship, right? All the unhappiness, all the brokenness, all the, depression comes from relationship with my neighbor. So we want to have a good relationship, right? Yeah? So imagine my neighbor made a mistake, some stupid mistake. And then I would walk to that person and say, yeah, you made a stupid mistake because you are stupid. Would you like it? Huh? Imagine somebody come to you and say, you made a stupid mistake because you are stupid. You is stupid, you will be stupid, you was stupid. Would you like it? I would, if you tell me, Pastor Shin, you screwed up your sermon today. You always make a bad sermon. Basically, you are a bad pastor. I don't want to see you anymore, neither. Wouldn't we do that? It's called broken relationship, right? But if you think about it, we do that to ourselves all the time. See, when I make a mistake, guess what I say to myself? Oh, you. Oh, you're stupid. I know month of December is very stressful to the group leaders. You know why? Because of the performance. And I am aware that some of the groups in this room had never won, never mind number 1, number 2, even number 3, never won for 11 years. Okay? There are groups that never won anything. So imagine you failed for 10 years. And then many times the group leader might say to himself or herself, say, we're not going to win this time neither because we ain't good anymore. So I'm not going to do anything. That's called bad self-esteem. Why? Imagine if I walked up to the group leader, K14 or whatever. So, well, you never won anything because your group is no good. You will never be good. Why don't you give up and die? Wouldn't you like it? Say, what the, you don't do that. You don't do that to other people. If you happen to do that or similar thing, then we get hurt, right? Once we get hurt, our civility is broken. So our relationship is broken. And many of us have the broken relationship, I know. But if we turn around and do it to our own selves, same thing would happen. Oh, I will never be any good. I will always be a failure. I'm not educated. I'm not, whatever. And then we label ourselves as bad person, stupid or whatever. That's called low self-esteem. Now, once a person have a low self-esteem, he or she is very vulnerable to commit sin. Why? Because we want to hide the fact, want to hide it. Or somebody finds out, we get embarrassed. We get really embarrassed. So in order to cover it up, we have to lie, we have to cheat, we have to, act as if I know everything, and all that bad things would happen. And even when we become a Christian, we often forget that I am a child of God, that I must have a good relationship with my own self. We often forget. So let me give you an example. If I fail in my endeavor 3 times, or we opened up orphanage 3 times, first one failed because we got cheated by the landowner. Second time we tried, we failed because construction was just went to pots. Number 3, we failed. The third one we failed because we never could get any orphans. We just wasted our money. Now, why would you tell me, come to me and say, Pastor Shin, you are stupid. You failed 3 times. Don't ever start an orphanage. You just go and die. You're worthless. Would you tell me that? You wouldn't tell me that. What would you tell me? You'd say, Pastor Shin, it's okay. I know we failed 3 times. Let's try one more time. Just one more time. Wouldn't you do that? And then I say, yes, let's try one more time. Why don't we do that to our own selves? Why? Because God made me, how am I? If God gave me 80 IQ, that's what He gave me. And that's me. So I say to myself, well, I'm 80. It's okay for me to be 80, but I want to try one more time. Why? Because that's exactly what I would say to my neighbor, my friend. If I like that person, and if I really for that person, if I want the good things to happen to that person, I would say, it's okay. Yes, you failed. I know you have failed 3 times, but let's try one more time. Wouldn't we do that? And then we will have a good relationship instead of hurting each other, all that. I think answer to all the questions that we have is self-esteem, because we often forget, and we have this tendency, this terrible tendency, to condemn our own self. Remember, Apostle Paul said, I don't even judge myself, right? That's what it means. Selfish, it means that I don't label myself. Even if I have an IQ of 70, I don't call myself stupid. I'm just 70. Why? Because that's what God made me, okay? The holy thing is, even though I have 70, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to encourage myself. I'm going to pat my back and say, yes, you failed 3 times, but just let's try one more time. Try this. Say this. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. It's okay. Let's try one more time. See, if we do that every single day, then I finally would have a good self-esteem, that I would have a good relationship to myself. And with the same idea, look at my neighbor. And instead of judging, you made stupid mistakes. You made 3 times stupid mistakes. Therefore, you're stupid. No, it's okay. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. Let's not get separated. Let's try one more time. I'll be with you one more time. You can do it. Wouldn't we be able to do that? Because we forget the simple fact that in the eyes of God, no matter what we have done, really, or no matter what have happened in the past, in His eyes, we are all precious. Amen? I'm not just saying it because I'm a pastor, but really, really. And once I have that idea, and then I look at my neighbor, I don't have to really change you, really. You don't have to change. Turn to each other, say, you don't have to change. I am really serious. You don't have to change. You don't have to change. I don't have to judge you. I don't have to judge you because God made you. And I'll simply accept you as you are and love you. I wish you really well. I really will not judge you. And if we do that, guess what? That's called civility. We all can make a harmonized living. And individually, every single person saying to himself or herself, yes, this is me, but I'm going to take one more step because I love myself. If I made D, it's okay. Made D, I'll accept that. But next time, I want to make C. I want to make C. If I have C, I'll make D. No. I'll make B. Okay? If I have B, next time I'll make A. And each day we do that. And look at each other's and say, yes, you have B today, you can have A. And in fact, I'll be with you. And if we do that, we can have finally peace with each other. And that's what loving each other means. That's what Christianity means. That's everything boils down to self-esteem. Only problem is because of our past. See, so many things had happened. I just found out recently, visiting Korea, in Asia, 60% of women had a bad past because of molestation or abuse. 60%. I was shocked. And many people have history of failure in the past. So we carry that. And as if that failure or as if that accident, or as if that bad thing happened, our lack of education or lack of whatever success or whatever, it labels himself or herself. Okay? And then we live with fear. And no matter how many times we hear a pastor saying, no, you are child of God, whatever, we cannot shake that off because of the past. And I'm going to tell you really a good story to get rid of that. Okay? I know all of us have a past. I have a past, you have a past, we all have a past. A bad thing happened. And that just constantly bugs our heart. So it's a lucky day for you. One of you today. One of you, because I'm going to give you $100. $100. Brand new $100. One of you will get it today. Who wants it? Okay. Whoever wants it really bad, I'm going to give you. Okay. You want it? What if I do that? You still want it? You want it? You still want it? Who wants it? Oh, Gina. You are the lucky person today. Raise the hand. Do you know what I just did? The value of the money is not in its past. What happened to the money? being raped, had a failure, didn't have education, didn't have Mercedes, didn't have a big house. It's not in the achievement of that money. The value of the money is in and of itself, inside of it, already given by the United States, by the government. No matter what happened, no matter who handled it. Value of a person, you, me, is in the eyes of God. Would you believe it? Amen. Now you'd believe it now. I ain't got no more $100 bills to give away. See, that's what Isaiah is saying to all the Israel. I made you. You as yourself is precious. Say that to yourself all the time. Amen. However, I have to give you a caution. It doesn't mean that you become arrogant, therefore, I'm all that. No, you ain't. I mean, if you are 80 of IQ, you are 80. Okay, don't lie to yourself. Therefore, I am 8,000. No, you're 80. 80 is 80. 100 is 100. 120 is 120. We don't have to make it bigger or smaller. Seeing it as itself truly is important. Okay, very important. Okay, if I made a mistake, yes, I made a mistake. I didn't make it. There was some pastors say you're sick. I claim I'm not sick. No, you is sick. I mean, you don't have to claim it. Seeing the truth, reality as it is. I made a mistake. Oh, I made a mistake. I did something. That's okay. That's okay. But once I realize it, because I'm a precious child of God, I want to improve myself. Not, greatly. I mean, it's okay too, but at least maybe one more step. Encouraging my own self. Yes, I can. I can do that one more time. Just one little step. One more time. I can do that. Can I? Because I'm precious. If I'm 80, well, let's say 81, 80.5, 80.01. It's okay. Just a little step. And then, as I look at my neighbor, I don't have to judge. Accept each other as we are. Okay, I love you. And we can finally harmonize our lives. Amen? The base is because the value of each person is how much we paid for it. Right? $100 bill, inside of it has a power and value of $100. Every single one of us. God doesn't care we have, beautiful face or ugly face or, whatever. God doesn't care because He made it that way. The value of a person individually is how much He paid for it. And what God is saying is that I paid Egypt for you. I paid schools for you. I paid my life for you. Right? Jesus Christ, by dying on the cross to redeem my sin, He basically put a word, price tag on my life and your life as life of Jesus Christ, which is, I don't know how much. How much would you say? Priceless, yes, priceless. So I am that. Okay? Somehow, my life can be expressed with my past experience. My parents were divorced. So what? Has nothing to do with my own personal innate value as a person, as a child of God. I didn't do whatever, I failed whatever. But I am still child of God. Once I realize that I am a child of God, then I can say to myself, because you are a child of God, even though you made a mistake, let's take one more step. Let's try one more time. Let's go one more time. Okay? Because I don't want to give up now. Let's do it one more time. That's called self-esteem. That's all good, positive self-esteem. See, in a secular sense, self-esteem is, like I said, nearly impossible to understand. And unfortunately, it is impossible to improve. Truly in a sense, in a true medical sense. Why? Because we ain't never going to make it. You no good. I'm no good. I mean, I can try, but ultimately, my badness will come out, your badness will come out. So there is no foundation of having a good relationship with my own self. Why? Because innately I'm bad. I mean, you have sinned, haven't you? Yes or no? You have sinned, right? You all, every single one of you, have dark place in your heart. That if somehow some light shone and if it is revealed in this room, you'd be utterly destroyed, isn't it? Every single one of us have that. If it is exposed, we'd be embarrassed to max and we'll never be able to come here. We all have that. Therefore, there is no foundation of having a good relationship with my own self. That's hopeless. In the worldly sense, we are all hopeless. It doesn't make sense. I never could understand Freud, all this psychoanalysis and all the psychology. Because I look at myself and go, I'm hopeless. I mean, there are things that I can never be able to talk to you, never be able to show you. It's like, oh my goodness. And how can I have a good self-esteem to my own self? Look at me. Not this, okay? It looks good now, but I mean, I say to my own self, like I always, James, I know you, huh? I know you. When there's Satan, you hear one of those voices once in a while. So James, I know you, huh? I know you, and then all that memory comes back, and and then. There is no foundation to have a good self-esteem. How can you treat that person with a dignity? You can. That's why I said at the beginning, it's self-esteem very difficult. But luckily, or fortunately or blessedly, all of us as a child of God, we do have a foundation to have a good relationship with our own selves. Why? Because Isaiah says that God had created me and said, I redeemed you. I bought you with the price of the blood of Jesus Christ. Amen? So we can have past. Yes, I understand that. But now I say, despite of the past, I'm still okay. Amen? Not because I'm arrogant, but despite of the past, I'm okay. So do that one more time. Say, I'm okay. Okay. Amen? And I'm okay, and therefore, you're okay. Turn to each other and say, you're okay too. And I think if we do that, our lives would be much better. I truly believe Christianity is being represented by cross. Okay, Christianity. I know, symbolically, theologically, or life-wise. But one aspect that I really like to emphasize is it has two sticks, two pieces wood. One vertical, one parallel. Okay? So many times Christians mistake the me as a person and God as my God. Our relationship is all about Christianity. No, it's not. It's wrong, in my opinion. It's only 50%. I must have a good relationship with my God. Yes, theologically, all that. Yes. But only that. If Paul sticking, that's just a telephone pole. It means really little. But we must have a stick that is also parallel. How do I say it? Thank you. Yeah. Then my relationship with you is also vitally important. In fact, it's 50%, or maybe a little less than 50%. But it must be there. And that's how you make cross. Amen? In order to have a good relationship with my neighbor, I love my neighbor as I love myself, right? How do I love myself? that I realize my worth, which was given by God, not by my own mistake or my own achievement, but which is given by God as a preciously redeemed by blood of Jesus. Say, yes, thank you. And then have relationship with others and have a perfectly parallel stick, and vertical stick and parallel stick makes a precious cross. And I think that's Christianity. So let's have a good self-esteem. Amen? So one more time, pat on your heart and say, try one more time. You're okay. Let's pray.